Welcome to the August 30th, 2017 Board of Trustees meeting. We will open the meeting as we usually do with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. The moment of silence tonight is twofold. First, in honor of those affected by Hurricane Harvey, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Second, in memory of Hank Stein, father-in-law of our administrator, Jack Cameron. Hank is survived by his children, Tracy, Henry, Eileen, Paul, and Steve, 10 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. Hank was the MVP of the 1958 Xavier University NIT Championship team. May he rest in peace. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Luby, approval of the minutes.
Motion 2017-182, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on August 9th, 2017, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2017-182.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes.
Motion 2017-183, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2017-183.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes.
Motion 2017-184, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending August 15th, 2017.
I move motion 2017-184.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes.
Resolution 2017-223, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the Township by the Township Administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Motion 2017-185, authorize the fiscal officer to sign liquor control form not requesting a hearing for a change of corporate stock ownership for an existing liquor permit for Delhi Pub, Inc., DBA Blue Note Pub and Patio at 937 Devil's Backbone Road in Delhi Township, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45238.
I move motion 2017-185.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you.
As far as our significant transactions since the last meeting, we've got $30,028 to Barrett Paving for our 2017 road contract. We have $42,283 to Motorola for 8 portable fire and EMS radios and 1 mobile data radio for the ambulance. Our payroll on 810 was $251,000. Our payroll on 824 was $250,000. And we have a payment to police and fire retirement for the July contribution of $51,208. That's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, trustee correspondence. Trustee Seavey, please.
Yeah, I'd like to just publicly thank again the Delhi Civic Association for their generous donation to the Delhi Parks and Recreation. This was additional playground equipment in the children's lots. So I know that Parks and Rec are very pleased now because they feel they have equipment that reaches a wide range of ages for children. So thank you very much, Delhi Civic, and if you have a chance, there's a beautiful stone up there dedicating the playground.
Thank you. Trustee Oswald.
I just want to congratulate the Delhi Police Department. Today at 10:30 a.m., we were here for the Hamilton County Heroin Task Force. They honored 3 of our detectives, Detective Rui, Cox, and Macaluso, for their award of excellence with their heroin investigation. So Channel 9 was here, so you may see it on the news tonight. And also go on Facebook. You'll see the full, I think, 12-minute clip on Facebook, but it's just another example of this board recognizing the heroin problem and being proactive.
Thank you. And then I also want to thank the citizen who lives on Palomino to bring it to our attention that there are some speeding issues there, and I know our police department is working with him on that. So thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Luby, administration, please.
Resolution 2017-224, Resolution entering into a natural gas aggregation agreement with Constellation New Energy Gas Division LLC, Constellation, as the natural gas supplier to the Township Natural Gas Aggregation Program, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute the agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Cameron?
This is a continuation of what you've had in place the last 3 years. So it would be a 3-year term to renew with Constellation. So their name has changed. It's now Constellation New Energy. What they do is they send out the enrollment, the opt-out notices to everybody that's eligible to be in the program. So that will happen, I want to say in October, but that will be coming up. And the rate, the way this works is they will get a rate for the winter locked in, which will have a ceiling not to exceed. So you got some price surety. And then in the summer months and into the fall, they do a variable rate. Residents are able to get in and out of the program at no expense to them, so there's no termination fee, and you could get in at any time as well. So there's not a set date when you have to get in or out by. And if you'd like to do the variable rate the whole year, you can do that as well. So this is just a renewal of our agreement with them, and then the rate will come as the market dictates advantageous pricing.
All right. Thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-225, resolution authorizing the purchase of time clocks from Paycor in place of currently leased units, authorizing the Township Administrator to sign the necessary documents, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Ms. Hermes?
I was contacted by Paycor because our time clocks have been updated, and we researched it and came up with actually a more cost-effective time clock than the one we're currently using. Instead of leasing them, we will purchase them, and we should be saving monies. The return on investment is, I believe, I'm remembering it was about 18 months. So from what we were leasing compared to paying for them, it seems like a better idea, turnaround, use of money, and I've discussed it with our IT person, and she's in favor of it as well.
What kind of life does it have?
5 to 7 years is what they anticipate, and that matches with what our current ones have been running.
Is there a service warranty?
Or 1 year.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Okay. Ms. Hermes, you're on.
I will. It is time to look at our insurance again. We went out last year. Delhi Township went to self-insurance, and I'm sure you'll kind of remember some of these slides. Part of going self-insurance is some notification about the changes. Self-insurance, it's per Ohio Revised Code. We have to give a week's notice, and it's not pure self-insurance the way townships or most people practice it. So this year we did, when it was time to go out for renewal, we actually approached Horan Associates and our current broker to get some quotes, and we've been working with Horan Associates to go out for our renewal and become our broker. And then the recommendation is to switch to custom design benefits as a third-party administrator. The way medical self-insurance works is the employer. At Delhi Township, there's also an insurance broker, which would be Horan Associates, a third-party administrator, and they're the ones typically, that's who your medical card, their name is on it, so that's what most people will see. But then there's a plan, and the plan that we're recommending is the true cost plan, and I will let Horan go into a little bit more of that. And the final component is a stop-loss carrier, and that is it's kind of liability insurance. So if an individual has claims that exceed a certain amount, instead of the township paying the full amount, the stop-loss carrier covers that amount. So it caps the township's exposure for individuals to a certain amount per year. And that's the big picture. I know I had sent out a memo to you outlining the recommendation on true cost, but I thought I'd give a minute to Brandon, Kristen, and Nicole Tedford from Horan Associates to introduce themselves and Horan.
So Brandon Kristen with Horan. I'm going to give you a little overview on Horan, and Nicole will give you some background on custom design benefits. Horan is a privately held, family-owned business. We've been around since 1948, headquartered here in Cincinnati, but we have regional offices in Dayton, Columbus, and Northern Kentucky as well. We obviously represent many different industries, but we consider municipalities and government entities really our expertise level. Currently, we represent 53 other municipalities in the region and help them really to keep costs down, plans affordable for employees, and to help produce healthier employees.
Hi, Nicole Tedford. I'm an account manager at Horan Associates, and as Brandon mentioned, I just want to give a quick overview on custom design benefits and the True Cost program, just to make sure there's no questions about how it's set up. Custom design benefits here locally, actually just down a couple miles from you guys, a local third-party administrator, so they are really the ones in charge of managing the claims, the payment, etc. Their program, True Cost, is a reference-based pricing self-funded program, and the way that works is that instead of paying from the top down, total charges, discounting, they pay from a reference up. And what that does is three things. It allows for significant cost savings to the township. So cutting large hospital bills, those sorts of things, really providing discounts to those services. So as Brandon mentioned, cost containment. It's a great program for that. Another thing Brandon mentioned is employees and the benefit that employees are receiving. Another great thing about the True Cost program is it is a $0 deductible plan back to your old copay plan. So there's copays attached to all of the services, and there will never be any deductible expenses on the plan. So local TPA with a great benefit to your employees with the $0 deductible. On top of that, we are projecting a decrease in spend for the township for future years, and I think there's a couple slides about that. It's about 7% decrease in spend going to this True Cost program. We evaluated the market and determined that this was the most cost-effective option for the township.
So for some perspective, the average renewal is about a 10% increase, and so we're very happy with the decrease on this year's plan. Did the way she explained the payment make sense? I mean, do you guys understand?
Perfect.
Took me a little while.
Yeah.
We've been dealing with it for over a year, so.
Just to give a bigger or a smaller nutshell of what the activity's been the last several months. So I started in February, and one of the, if not the most burning topic, was this move to the self-insurance, and is everything working and being done the way it should be. So that's one of the things I've been trying to get my arms around. And in doing that, I think my recommendation is we move to Horan. I've dealt with them for many years and have a strong confidence in what they do, but I think they can do a better job for us. At the same time, the reference-based pricing, or the true cost that custom design refers to this as, was compelling as I was looking at the self-insurance options and what we were doing here. And so I learned more about that, and then when they got into the renewal phase of things, getting fully insured options, other self-insured options, TPA, the MedBen True Cost, not MedBen, the Custom Design Benefit True Cost option came in the lowest, and it was also the one I was most interested in because custom design has a very strong reputation as well. So that's kind of how we started, at least in February, and got to this point. We had met with an employee group that had met previously over insurance items, walked through it with them. They seemed very happy and excited with this option. It's one of those things that kind of sounds maybe too good to be true, but so far we've kind of tested it from different angles, and it seems to be everything we think it can be. We don't know how the cost will end up at the end of the year, because we do have that that unknown amount that we've got a minimum we can spend and then a maximum with the stop loss that we're protected from. But the expected spend should be less. It is projected less than we spent this year. So this year we did good so far. The expense is less than we would have had with fully insured insurance, so that's a good thing. So I'm looking forward to this move and this option. I think it'll be a good thing. I think employees are pretty excited about the possibility. Now, Melanie has some slides to just quickly breeze through, but this is a compliance requirement with the Ohio Revised Code and self-insurance. So
I just put a slide in there a little bit with the renewal process, which we had talked about a few minutes ago, recommending going with the True Cross program with custom design benefits. This shows the numbers. The True Cross program is expected to run at 7.9% below current, while maximum, there's a possibility of being $43,000 over current. And that's the worst case scenario. That's everyone's hitting their stop loss. We had a horrible year. So we also got fully insured quotes, which were more costly. So of course we decided to stay the course, stay self-funded. And then these are the renewal premiums, what the full cost. Right now, as you know, the Township pays 85% and the employee pays 15% of the premium. There was some changes. We previously had 3 different plans, and we were recommending just going with the one plan. So all employees will be with the one plan. The TPA is custom design benefits. Again, they're local. I've worked with them for several years, and I've been pleased with their customer service. And I won't say they always know the answer right away, but they always get back to you really quickly if they have to research something. And part of the true cost is direct contracts with local providers, which is part of the true cost plan. So that's the Medicare Plus 40, and then they also have direct contracts with several vendors. And then the stop loss carrier is NUS. And that, again, there's a specific deductible per employee, and then there's an annual aggregate, which is for the whole township. And then those are just the kind of the lifetime maximum, and then the specific deductible. The contract is a 24/12, which means...
So stop loss contracts are set up to provide the maximum amount of coverage, meaning that the 24/12 contract will cover you for any running claims from the prior contract period. So claims that were incurred in the most recent 12 months, as well as the prior 12 months, to give you that 24-month coverage, and paid in the most recent 12 months. So again, making sure that no claims fall through the gap, no large claims specifically fall through the gap, that the township would then not have any catastrophic coverage on. That's the idea behind the 24/12 contract.
Okay. Those are just the more expected costs and the numbers that went into getting them. We do have about currently we're expecting about 77 employees to be enrolled, and obviously to get these numbers, we're taking currently what people have elected and projecting forward. So again, there's a little bit of unknown because people can change coverages or choose to waive or elect it when they haven't in the past. So that's always a little bit of the unknown with health insurance during open enrollment. And then the fees also include some of the ACA fees projected out, and custom design does a good job of keeping us compliant. So the next steps is we have 4 resolutions that will need to be passed, and we are going to have a meeting next Wednesday. The first one is to elect Horan Associates to be our insurance broker. The second one is for Custom Designs to act as the TPA. The third contract is to incorporate all the different direct contracts that are related to the True Cross program. And I guess I need to put out there that even though they're direct contracts, it is not a network plan. You can go anywhere. There's just in this area, years of doing business, they've come up with direct contracts that make it cost-effective and easier in this area just over the years with their contacts. And then we also need to establish NUS as the stop-loss carrier.
So we have a week lead time. There's a week between when we offer this information and when you can approve contracts for the self-insurance. So that's why we're doing this tonight on the presentation side, and then have a meeting next Wednesday to get the contracts approved.
Okay, questions?
I just have two. First, is this easier for our employees?
That is the number one benefit of the true cost plan, is that the employee experience is going to be so much
Okay,
better.
because that's the number one issue for them now is a difficult
Process.
Yep.
process of claims.
When I personalize this myself, the thought of no deductibles, no headaches, just a copay, it's so much easier for the employees.
Okay, and then you mentioned like the 2412. Who will be the point of contact for our employees during the transition from one to the other?
Yes, so that would be Haran, myself.
Okay,
Haran works and acts as your employees' advocates to make sure that they have any questions, any claims questions, any questions about how the plan operates, where should I receive care. Of course, we partner with Custom Design in the background, and it's a pretty seamless flow. I work with Custom Design on quite a few clients, but for the most part, if employees have questions, they call Haran, and we help find their answer.
They shouldn't feel that contract regardless. That shouldn't matter to the employees, the
No.
2412.
No.
That's behind the scenes. Okay, case in point, somebody goes in the hospital, the barrage of doctors come in, they have the charging. Is it like copay for every doctor that walks in the door, or is it a copay for your hospital stay and that's it?
Copay for the hospital stay.
Okay.
So similar, another example to that would be office visits. If I go in for my annual physical and I have lab work done because I'm a diabetic and it's just the routine care is that I have lab work done, I will pay a copay for that office visit, and that's it. The lab's included in that copay.
Okay. Trustee Oswald.
What about prescriptions?
Prescriptions are available at copays as well as some co-insurance levels. So I believe we broke it out into the 6 tiers, which is a little bit different than how it's broken out right now. But we did provide caps on some of those tiers. The higher level drugs, your specialty medications, for example, it's a co-insurance with a cap of about $250,
50.
I believe, is the cap we placed on that. So for your general prescriptions, your normal maintenance medications, you're going to have a copay plan design. And then for any specialty medications, it will be a co-insurance to a cap of $250 per script. And all of that applies
Per
towards...
script.
Per script, correct. All of that applies towards an out-of-pocket maximum. So while there's no deductible on the plan, there still is a capped limit of what you would pay out-of-pocket in your copays towards that out-of-pocket maximum.
And I know this answer, but not everybody does. Somebody has a baby.
Yep.
Okay, we paying for mommy and baby, or how's that work?
So all of the mother's claims, as long as it's considered a normal pregnancy, would be applied towards the mother. But if, for example, the baby is a complicated birth or they bring them back in for another visit at a later day, that would go towards the baby and
Another
there'd be a
claim.
separate copay.
Okay.
So the short answer is it's one cost.
For
and
normal birth.
For a normal
without
birth,
complications.
And that's the inpatient $500 copay.
Right. Back to drugs. Can you do 90-day prescription by mail?
You can.
Okay.
And you can also do them at Kroger Pharmacy. You can get a 90-day prescription there as well.
Oh, good to know.
The pharmacy benefit manager, the prescription benefit manager, PBM, is Kroger. That's not to say that members can only go to Kroger. They're actually a very large national network of pharmacies. It's just that if members go to Kroger, they get better pricing through this, as well as the option for that 90-day retail.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great local partner.
Any more questions, trustees?
no, I'm good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
For your time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Hermes. No, I'm not. Okay, Parks and Recreation.
Resolution 2017-226, resolution entering into a facilities use agreement with ICANN Gymnastics LLC for the provision of an after-school afternoon gymnastics tumbling program for the community at the Delhi Senior Center, Community Center, authorizing the Parks and Recreation Director to execute the agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second, the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Torbeck?
Thank you, trustees. This is just to continue our relationship with ICANN Gymnastics. This will be the third year for them. Nothing's changed in the contract. It's just the changing of the dates that the contract will take place. With your approval, signups will begin on September 11th, and we'll get those details out.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Okay, community development.
Resolution 2017-227, resolution renewing Deerfield West Subdivision Street Lighting District. Contract pursuant to revised code 515.081 and 9.30. Confirming assessment pursuant to revised code 515.08 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, and if you don't mind, I'll talk about the three.
All of them?
Yes. The township has 9 streetlight districts, so every year we have renewals. This year we do have 3. I think last year we had 4, so next year we'll have 2. Basically, we went through the numbers, and these 3 districts ranged in about the 3 to 5% percentage increase. So that's what you see in front of you right now is basically these are just kind of bumping them up a little bit. It's a minimal cost to the residents, but these are private streetlight districts that these residents have agreed to sign upon years back. So that's what you have in front of you basically tonight. So
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-228, resolution renewing Greenery Subdivision Street Lighting District contract pursuant to revised code 515.081 and 9.30, confirming assessment pursuant to revised code 515.08 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-229, resolution renewing Oakwood Park Subdivision Street Lighting District contract pursuant to revised code 515.081 and 9.30, confirming assessment pursuant to revised code 515.08 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-230, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4081 Delhi Pike and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
yeah, we have a property at 4081 Delhi Pike. Unfortunately, this is the second time we have had to abate this one this year. As you can see in the photos, there is excessive vegetation. It was in the same condition this morning. We do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-231, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 945 Beach Meadow Lane and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah, as you can see in the photos, 945 Beach Meadow Lane, you have some excessive vegetation. This vegetation is primarily in the planting beds and around the perimeter of the house. So this is a first-time offender. It was in the same condition as you see in the photos as of this morning, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-232, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5153 Dundas Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong? If we can
Yeah.
find the slide.
What you have, sorry about that. As you can see, well, wrong slide. 5153 Dundas Drive. We do have some excessive vegetation. This is a first-time offender. It is an occupied structure. Again, it is primarily in the planting beds and around the perimeter of the home. It was in the same condition this morning. We do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-233, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 332 Don Lane and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Unfortunately, we have an occupied structure here at 332 Don Lane. This is a repeat offender. As you can see, there is excessive vegetation. It was in the same condition this morning. We do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-234, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 343 Robin Lane and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Yeah, this is an unoccupied structure at 343 Robin Lane. This is again is a repeat offender. I do believe we saw this one earlier in the year. It is in the same condition as you see in the photos. We do request to declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-235, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5321 Plum Ridge Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution without slides, Mr. DeLong?
Fortunately, we don't have the slides for this one. There is a property at 5321 Plum Ridge Drive. It does have excessive vegetation. This is a repeat offender. It is a vacant structure. It is in the condition as we saw it this morning, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-236, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation and accumulated debris at 525 Pedretti Road and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Unfortunately, we have another house at 525 Pedretti Court. It's actually Pedretti Drive. It is actually a repeat offender. This was one we did abate earlier this year, so it is in the condition as you see in the photos. We do declare or request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Thank you. Okay, Public Works.
Motion 2017-186, accept resignation of seasonal maintenance worker Brendan Marchetti, effective August 18th, 2017.
I move motion 2017-186.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, Police Department.
Resolution 2017-237, resolution entering into 2 collective bargaining agreements with the Delhi Police Association for members within the bargaining units and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Chief Howarth?
Yeah, we got the, Jack and I met with both unions at the same time, the supervisors, the gold unit and the blue unit, 2.5 times, I guess, relatively short time. Come to agreement, basically came down to salaries, which we agreed to a 332 if you sign the contract. It's a 3-year contract. It's the same price as the fire department, Public Works has gotten the last year, their last contracts. Other than that, as far as financially, that was the financial part. So the rest was kind of clarification on some language that we talked about throughout the year that we made the modifications to.
We
I'm-
appreciate their willingness to to bargain, so nicely, and it went quickly, and happy with that. Thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Fire Department.
Motion 2017-187 approves the promotion of Christopher Gundrum from part-time firefighter EMT to part-time FAO EMT at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Firefighters Association effective August 31st, 2017.
I move motion 2017-187.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion carries. For those of you who don't know what FAO is, as I didn't, it means Fire Apparatus Operator, which means he gets to drive the big red truck, is the way that it was explained to me. So, thank you. Okay. Citizen comments. I have no notes up here for citizens. Announcement of community events, please.
Fishing program at Clearview Lake are Fridays through September. It's from 7 a.m. to dusk at Clearview Lake at 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Farmers Market are Saturdays through October from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at Clearview Lake, 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Historical Society program, Early Delhi, Fashion, Fiber, and Farming, will be Monday, September 11th at 7 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Park Lodge at 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Township Veterans Association membership meeting is Tuesday, September 12th. It will be at 7:30 p.m. at the Delhi Senior Community Center at 647 Neeb Road. The Honor Flight Tri-State will be Tuesday, September 26th. The Delhi Township Branch Library Program, Cincinnati Music Hall 360, will be Thursday, September 28th at 7 p.m. We'll be at the Delhi Township Branch Library at 5095 Foley Road.
Okay, thank you. We're getting ready to go into executive session, so we give the motion, please.
Motion 2017-188 to retire to executive session to prepare for negotiations for public employees concerning their compensation and other terms and conditions of their employment.
I move motion 2017-188 to retire to executive session to prepare for negotiations with public employees concerning their compensation and other terms and conditions of their employment.
Second the motion.
All those in favor? Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, that concludes our meeting this evening. Our next one is Wednesday, September 13th at 6 p.m. Thank you for coming. Everybody be safe.
Happy Labor Day.
Oh, happy Labor Day. Yeah.